Hey guys, by the time I found out that Easter was coming up, I didn't have time to think of what to do for an Easter special, never mind film it or anything. So, sorry, but there won't be any Easter special this year. I'm going to try and do one next year instead. So, I'm just going to review the next story of Doctor Who, which I haven't reviewed yet. So, happy Easter! Bye.
Guys, I'm sorry that my Doctor Who reviews have been 20 minutes long. I try to make them as short as I can, but they end up being 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and talk really fast without taking a breath and try to review story number 6, The Aztecs, as fast as I can. So wish me luck. Ready, set, go! The Doctor, Ian, Susan, and Barbara end up in an Aztec temple that can only be opened from the inside. Unfortunately, by the time they go out of the temple, it's too late. While they were in the temple, Barbara puts on a jewel that is supposed to mean that she is the god of the AZTECTS. Not goddess, but god, but it doesn't matter. If she has the jewel on, then that means that she's the AZTECTS. So then when she goes out, everyone believes that she's the goddess, god, the AZTECTS, and Susan, the Doctor, and Ian are her servants. When Barbara hears that they're sacrificing in the Aztecs' time, she decides to try and change history and stop one from happening. But unfortunately, when she stops a man from getting his heart cut out, he is upset, saying that she denied his honor. So then he jumps off a building to commit suicide so that he'll die anyway. And then this causes a man, Toxo I think his name was, to believe that
this is not yet Texas. This is a false goddess! And I shall destroy her.
Sorry that I'm leaving a whole bunch of stuff out of the plot summary out, but I'm just trying to get through this summary as fast as I can. So Ian becomes one of the battling Aztecs for like fighting, and then whoever loses gets their heart cut out. And unfortunately the Doctor doesn't know this, so when his component, just some random guy who's going to fight Ian, comes to the Doctor, he asks for help, since he's supposed to be the god's servant, and like some sort of magic to help him defeat his opponent. And he doesn't tell the Doctor that Ian is his opponent. So the Doctor gets this plant, which if you get a cut from it, it'll slowly drain your strength away. So the man succeeds in cutting Ian during the fight, and Ian is just about to be killed when Barbara comes in to save the day.
That's not permitted! A false god is permitted! Destroy him! Stop! Your place is in the temple.
I am loyal to those who serve me.
If you are your taxa, save him!
What Tloxo meant was like use some sort of magic for Ian to survive. But Barbara decided to do it another way. She did exactly as he told her to save Ian. She grabbed a knife or something and threatened to kill him if Ian died. And so Ian was saved. And during this episode, they find out that there is another way to get into the temple that the TARDIS is in, is to go through this tunnel with water and everything. So Ian decides to go through the tunnel to make sure that it is safe. Now, this man finds out about what Ian is doing, so then, Ixta is his name, sorry. He's the guy who is fighting Ian, and now Ixta finds out about what Ian is doing and closes the tunnel up, telling the Doctor that it's about to fill up with water and it would flood them. It would flood the whole Aztec thing. So then he closed it up so that they won't be flooded, but unfortunately now Ian is trapped in there, and then the water is filling up and Ian is about to drown.
I must replace the stone before the tunnel fills with water.
when Ian is just about to drown, he finds out that there is sort of a loose slab over his head, which he pushes aside, which allows him to get through the tunnel and into the temple. And then the doctor runs to Barbara and Susan, and he's like, Ian's drowning, he's dead. And then Ian comes out through the temple, and he's like, hey, I'm alive. And they're like, yay! So then, Barbara still wants to change history. But, unfortunately, by the end of this episode, the doctor tells Barbara, you can't change history, no matter what. You can't rewrite history, not one line. So just when Barbara is found out to not be a real god, they rush through that tunnel and arrive in the temple and take off in the TARDIS. And everything's cool, until suddenly something strange happens to the TARDIS.
What sort of mystery?
It's my instruments.
Yes, according to these controls here, we've stopped.
Yes, and those instruments say that we're still moving.
Perhaps we've landed on top of something.
Yes.
Or inside something.
I think that was pretty fast. So, yeah, it was only 4 episodes long. And, a lot of people really like this story, and judging by their opinion, I would recommend it. But if you watch my Marco Polo review, then you would know that I have a history block inside my head that prevents me from enjoying history stuff. So even though I love watching Doctor Who, and I could watch any episode of Doctor Who again and again and not get bored, it's just historical stories I don't find all that interesting. I can watch them, but I just don't find myself entertained by more stories. But yeah, these historical stories are going to pop up a whole bunch of times during the William Hartnell era. But after the Patrick Troughton era, there's just one in the Patrick Troughton era, and then they just stop making historical stories. Then all stories after that have at least something that's science fiction in them. Except for this one Peter Davison story, The Fifth Doctor. So, yeah, I would recommend it. It is pretty good how Barbara tries to change history. It's nothing like they arrive in the present and find out that the world is destroyed like we always do in those movies. It's just, you know. So, yeah, I think that was pretty quick. What did you think? Some stuff that I left out, for example, the Doctor proposed to an Aztec by accident, and Susan was kind of put into school or something to learn about Aztecs time after she disobeyed the law or something. And, yeah, anyway, so this summary pretty much got the story out for you, but I would suggest they actually watch the actual story or someone else's review to actually get it, because, yeah. So, I hope that was under 20 minutes. And see you next time where I review story number 7, which may be a bit longer than this one because it's 6 parts long. And it's called The Censorites.